NBA All-Star has been on the decline for the past few years, and fans are not happy with the performances and the changes made to this year's games. So can All-Star be saved? What's up, you guys? I'm Rachel DeMita, and welcome to the Courtside Club. Today, we have got to talk about NBA All-Star. Now, I told you guys in last week's video that I would be heading to NBA All-Star, and I actually just got back from the weekend. I was there in person for the Saturday night events and then came home yesterday and was able to watch the Sunday night games from home. There is so much to talk about, so much to go over. I have my thoughts about it, and let's jump in. So firstly, I want to read a tweet that I put out last night because it kind of sums up how I'm feeling about NBA All-Star Weekend. I said, I've been to 9 of the last 11 All-Star weekends, and for some reason, this one is just depressing. Someone replied and said, Kevin Hart ruined it. Somebody said, empty seats in the arena is sad. Someone else said, I can't watch anymore. And somebody else said, it feels like the end for some reason. This weekend was not great. NBA All-Star is such a big part of my career, such a big part of my life. Like I said, I have been to 9 of them in the past 11 years. I'm always there for work. A lot of the times I'm working alongside the NBA, doing interviews with different athletes, working media day, working with brands there, going to the events. I've been to all of the events. I've played in 2 NBA All-Star celebrity games. Like, I have done it all at All-Star. I've been to the parties. I've been to anything you can think of. I've done that at All-Star, and I've always thoroughly enjoyed it. I've also was somebody who, as a kid, looked forward to watching NBA All-Star Weekend on television when I was a kid. Like, this is something that used to be something for fans that everyone looked forward to. It was that exclusive weekend. You got to see all of your favorite stars together. You got to see people go up against one another that you might not get to see during the regular season. And the place that it's at now, it just sucks. And I'm not sure at this point what there really is to do to make it better. But let's start with the Saturday night events. Like I told you guys, I was there in person. So to kick off Saturday night was the NBA Skills Challenge. And I'm sure that you guys saw the clips online. Chris Paul and Wemby were partnered up together. They were a team for the Skills Challenge, and they tried to cheat the system. I'm not going to show the video here because it will obviously get flagged for copyright, but they tried to cheat the system, and instead of actually shooting in the stations where you needed to like shoot during the Skills Challenge, they kind of just threw the balls off the rack and then moved on. Obviously, they were disqualified for this. An NBA rep went over to tell them that they were disqualified. And what I thought was so interesting is the TNT crew was on them when they were getting disqualified. And this NBA rep comes over, shows them the rules, tells them they're disqualified. And Allie LaForce, the reporter, she goes over, she's talking to the guys in her ear. She's like, yeah, I'm going to go over. I'm going to get the inside scoop. And she's like, Wemby, tell me what's going on. And the NBA rep was so serious in that moment. He's like, no, we're not doing that right now. That was the moment I knew how serious they really were about that. And I also, when I saw that, I was so disappointed. Firstly, you have Chris Paul, who is president of the Players Association, who works so closely with Adam Silver, who has his input on so many things in the league, is also somebody who helped develop the in-season tournament, helped develop the court designs during the in-season tournament. Like, Chris Paul does so much within the league, and to be the president of the Players Association. And then you have somebody in a Victor Wembanyama who is projected to be one of the future faces of the league. He's only in his 2nd year in the NBA. This is his first time making the All-Star roster. I was just so confused as to why they thought that this would be a good idea. And yes, the Skills Challenge is probably the least exciting thing on Saturday night. People aren't really tapped in to the Skills Challenge. Like, oh, I can't wait to see the Skills Challenge. But still, the integrity of it. And like, I think that's what bothered me so much. I was just so disappointed because in what world did you think the league's gonna be okay with this? That's event number 1. Event number 2, the 3-point contest. We talked about it in last week's video, how Sabrina versus Steph was called off. I was also there last year on Saturday night in Indianapolis when they did the Steph versus Sabrina challenge. That was the highlight of the weekend. I would say of the entire weekend. I was very disappointed that that wasn't happening. I was more disappointed that Steph Curry, having the Bay Area be his home city, that he wasn't competing in the three-point shootout. A lot of people were saying he needs a break. He's not having the greatest year. I don't care. I don't care if he went out there and shot 5, got like a score 5, which would never happen, by the way. That's his home crowd. I also want to share with you guys, I have a video of the arena. So we were in a suite. I was there with a brand. We were in a suite for the Saturday night events. So I could see the entire 100s level, like the lower bowl of the arena. It was probably 60 to 70%, maybe like 70% full. And I have never, in the 9 All-Stars that I've been to, I've never witnessed that for an All-Star Saturday night. So many seats open. So many seats open. The in-arena host, like the guy who's hyping up the crowd, was begging the fans to get hype for these players. Like, I felt sad. I was like, I'm about to cry. I'm about to cry in this suite, because how did we get to this point when you go to a city like San Francisco that has such a rabid fan base and they're not even selling out the arena for All-Star Saturday night? And Steph Curry was in attendance, but I just don't understand why this is the year that he chose not to do it. I know Steph and Sabrina didn't work out, but he's solidified his spot as the best shooter in the world. Whether he wins the 2025 NBA All-Star three-point shootout or not, fans don't care. They just want to see him out there. And he probably would win, or he'd probably at least be in the final. So moving on to the dunk contest, McClung won for the 3rd year in a row, and McClung is a G League player. He has never had a full NBA contract. He has actually made more doing the NBA dunk contest than he ever has in earnings from the NBA. What I want to say about McClung is good on you. When McClung goes on the court for these dunk contests, he always has the energy. He has always very much prepared for this dunk contest. He brought out the Kia. He was recreating Aaron Gordon dunks. He was recreating the Blake Griffin dunk. He was the one who elevated the crowd for that night. The 70% filled arena that we were in, McClung lit that up. It makes me so happy that he's willing to go out there and put on a show. We have guys who are in the league right now who are bigger stars than McClung who just refuse to do the dunk contest. Everybody tosses out the injury. Why would they risk injury doing a dunk contest? Why did Vince Carter risk injury for however many years to do a dunk contest? Somebody who played in the league for 20 seasons. Why did Nate Robinson risk injury doing the dunk contest? Somebody who had a long career in the NBA. Why are we asking this question now? They're making a lot more money even than the players did before who were in this dunk contest. The guys who were in the dunk contest, kudos to them. I'm happy they went out. McClung was the highlight of the entire weekend, and I'm so shout out to him. Shout out to Chuck, who trains all these dunkers and gets them prepared. But the fact that we cannot get guys to do these things is concerning. So with that, John Morant actually put out a tweet and he said, "Zach and AG, what's up?" And Zach said, "Thinking I might have to again," meaning have to go into the dunk contest again. Now, Giannis also put out a tweet alluding like McClung is making him want to join the dunk contest. We will just have to see. So now let's talk about the Sunday night game. And there's another tweet that kind of summed up the Sunday night games. It said 2 hours of ads, 45 minutes of Kevin Hart, 10 minutes of basketball, Adam Silver's NBA All-Star Weekend. I do want to say I do not blame Adam Silver for this, because I feel like Adam Silver at this point is damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. If he wouldn't have changed something about All-Star Weekend, people would have been screaming like, "What are you doing? NBA All-Star Weekend sucks. You need to change something, try something new." And now that he did change something, people are like, just go back to East versus West. Why are you trying to do all these gimmicky things? I don't blame it on Adam Silver at this point, because we wouldn't be here at this point if the East versus West games were like they were in the 90s, in the early 2000s, in the mid 2000s. He has had to try different things because clearly All-Star is just not hitting the way that it has. But with that, there was also this graphic that came out that showed that the All-Star game lasted 3 hours and 30 minutes, so the entire broadcast. But the actual basketball that was played was only 30 minutes and 27 seconds. So this new format, you guys, for this year's games, there were 4 teams teams. There were 3 All-Star teams. They were the All-Stars broken up into 3 teams. And then there was 1 team with the winner of the Rising Stars game. And basically 2 All-Star teams played one another, and then the All-Star team and the Rising Stars team played one another, and then the winners of those 2 games played each other in the championship game. Ernie Johnson and the TNT guys were hosting All-Star Sunday night, but then they announced that Kevin Hart would also be joining them. So it turned into this almost like Saturday night live type of thing. They kept stopping the games, like after the team reached like 15 points or something, then they would stop down the game, and then they would do this, and then Kevin Hart would do a bit. Mr. Beast came out and did $100,000 shot thing, and it took like 15 minutes for this to happen. This kid shot against Damian Lillard for $100,000. There was all of these gimmicks that they added to the game, and in my mind I was also thinking, like, aren't these players getting cold? Because I know as a basketball player, when you start sitting out for a while, you start getting cold. You want to stay in the flow of the game. And what I will say is the game was actually more competitive than it has been in the past. I think because it's basically like win or go home in this situation. There was one All-Star team who only played 1 game, who only played for 10 minutes. So the competitive level was there, but the gimmicks surrounding it, in my personal opinion, were just far too much. I wanted to share what Draymond Green had to say about this new All-Star format. He said, "You work all year to be an All-Star, and you get to play up to 40, and then you're done. This is so unfair to Victor Wembanyama, who just took this game so seriously. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who just took this game really seriously. When you talk about chasing the points records, Melo, Kobe, and all the guys we've had, they don't get the opportunity to do that with this game. Now we get the treat of watching an Olympic team against a U19 team. Come on, what are we doing? This is ridiculous. Awful." Now, Trae Young was also asked about the All-Star game format and specifically all the breaks that were happening in between the games, and here's what he had to say.
No, I didn't like it at all, to be honest with you. I don't know what the fans' reaction is yet and things like that, but I think there's like too many breaks, you know what I'm saying? It's too long of a breaks, and guys are over there like, ready to play and stuff like that. I thought it was very competitive at the beginning, but then as the games kept going on, I think it was just too long of breaks, for sure.
You didn't enjoy that 17-minute break?
Yeah, that's how long it was too long of a break. I didn't know how long it was, but it felt like it was 30 minutes. So.
Did the game still kind of short? Like, you feel like it should have been like a 50-point target score, or 60 even?
I don't know. I don't know about this target score thing. I don't know about the 4 teams and all that. For me, I'm a traditional East-West guy, so I think there's a way to make it an incentive or things like that to make guys compete really hard and just do the best players from the East and best players from the West, and they compete, and you try to, you just have pride protecting your side. So I feel like that's a better way to go about it.
Another thing that I wanted to point out is just about an hour before the game, LeBron James announced that he would not be playing in this year's All-Star game. And I thought this was horrible. He announces on Sunday, "You won't see anything from me tonight. Unfortunately, I will not be in uniform tonight. I'm still dealing with ankle and foot discomfort." LeBron James is also somebody who is the face of the NBA and has been for the past 20 seasons. This is somebody that fans buy tickets for to see. I don't know what's all going on behind the scenes, but I feel like there was maybe a better way to do that. And I wasn't the only one who thought that that was not the greatest move. Draymond Green says, "I think LeBron James could have helped somebody else out there," and said this earlier. Vince Carter said there are a lot of guys who are worthy, and Jalen Rose said he took a roster spot from somebody. Now, after the All-Star game, many of the players were asked if they liked the new format, if they wanted to change it in any way, and this is what Damian Lillard had to say. He said he wants to go back to an East-West All-Star game. He said he'd be fine with home court and the finals being on the line. Lillard also suggests that the game be moved to the actual midpoint of the season instead of 2/3 of the way through, noting that right now some players are saving their bodies for playoffs. But overall, you guys, my final thoughts, I'm not sure what to do about NBA All-Star Weekend. I don't know if it's so far gone that there's no coming back. I truly hope that they can figure out a way to fix it. Maybe it is just going back. Maybe they give them one more season of East versus West. If the guys don't perform, then they call it, or they completely change it. They do kind of what the NFL is doing, because at this point in time, it's just not doing it for a lot of fans. And All-Star, at the end of the day, it is for the fans. It should be for the players as well to take pride in the sense that they are All-Stars. They were the ones that were chosen to be there, to play these games, to perform in front of the world and in front of their fans. But if they're not going to do it, and we have to resort to do gimmicks and different format changes every single year, then it just seems like a losing battle, and maybe it would be better to cut the losses, focus on the in-season tournament, focus on the play in the NBA, focus on the overseas ball, but I'm not so sure. So you guys let me know in the comments below what you think. Did you watch the games? Do you like this new format? What would you like to see change? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments, and of course, thumbs up this video if you guys enjoyed it, and click that little subscribe button because we upload new videos every single week. Just a reminder, guys, I am actually leaving in just a couple hours to go overseas, and so the videos this week, I might just have this one and one other. I hope that you don't mind if it's a little bit of a lighter week, but I do have some stuff planned for you guys in the weeks to come. So thank you so much, as always, for watching, and I'll see you next time. Ooh, and ah.